This love affair began when I was 11 years old and I watched this game the Dallas Cowboys were playing in. They had built this new and beautiful stadium that had a roof on it. Back then, I didn't know what to call it, just being a young kid. When I watched the game, at various points in the game, the sun would be at certain points on the field. I thought to myself, wow, that is so freaking amazing. As I continued to look at the game, I began to really fall in love with the game. Not just the players, but everything about the game. But the one thing that stood out for me was the stadium. To me, the stadium was like a religious cathedral that all of its worshipers would go on a Saturday and sing praises to their favorite team. Just looking at Texas Stadium back then, it was like a magical place that, in the words of the legendary Tex Schramm would say, God wanted to look in and watch the Cowboys play. I thought to myself, one day I am gonna build something like that. I had no clue how I would do it, but I was always a person that said, if I am gonna think it, I am gonna figure out a way to do it. Back then, I had no knowledge of engineering or architecture. Hell, I was just trying to find my way through puberty. So I tried to construct a stadium made of cardboard. Man, it was a freaking disaster. I remember it like yesterday. I created the side stands for one side and the end zone. Then I created a flat top roof. At that point, I thought I was in Texas Stadium. Over the years, I became more intrigued in the game of football, from its history of great players to the pomp and circumstances of game day. I felt like what I could bring to the game in this manner could be unbelievable and spectacular. Now, with the launching of the SEC network, I wanted to do something special for myself. Being a lifelong SEC fan, I have decided to create every stadium in the SEC, from the Swamp in Florida and Death Valley in Baton Rouge to Between the Hedges in Athens and Rocky Top in Knoxville. I will create each of the 14 stadiums and create a virtual gallery of them online. The stadiums will exist in my home, hanging on my walls, and will be used for display purposes. The hope is to add gigantic crowds adorned with their team colors, along with lights and all the essentials of Southeastern Conference football. Now, legends such as George Rogers, Reggie White, Bo Jackson, Steve Spurrier, Pat Sullivan, Pat Trammell, Johnny Musso, and Archie Manning will live on in miniature in the cathedrals of their great universities. The first stadium that is set to be completed is Sanford Stadium, Between the Hedges in Athens, Georgia. My first year of work will be to finish 7 of the 14. The next year, my plan is to finish the remaining 7. In finishing these stadiums, I want to add fans, cheerleaders, the players, and mascots. This is a labor of love, something I've always wanted to do because I love the SEC and the traditions of the game. When you're a kid raised in the Deep South, football is a religion. It transcends racial barriers, someone's station in life, or religious affiliation. When you put on the colors of your school, an October brisk fall Saturday among your brothers and sisters in arms is like no other. That's why I love the SEC. Thank you.